How's it going, everybody? RazingHel here, and today we're going to be taking a brief look at They Are Billions. It is sort of a cross between maybe like tower defense, real-time strategy, and survival. Now, this is a game that is currently in early access. It came out back in December of 2017, but it wasn't until June of this year that I actually bought it during the Steam summer sale. Now, I've been playing it for about 8 hours at this point, and I think the best thing for me to do would just be to continue a game that I had previously been working on. There are different difficulty levels for this game, like we could choose a new game name here. And when we set it up, there are different challenges that you can accept here, and that will impact your overall score factor at the end of the game. Since this is a single player game, that's largely the challenge at the moment, at least until the campaign is finished for the game. Because like I said before, it's in early access, so at the moment there's only the score. It's like a challenge, I guess you could say. So yeah, and there are different maps that you can unlock as you beat the previous map. So that's what the game has to offer at the moment. Like I said though before, I think the best thing we can do is actually select a game that I have been working on in the past and just load it up, and then I'll sort of demonstrate how some of the stuff works. Like this will give you an idea of what the game looks like once you're a couple of hours in. Because the games do take a couple of hours to play, it could take longer depending upon how much you pause it. It's one of the nice things about this. Okay, here we go. This is the base that I was working on. I guess you can call it a base, I don't know. You generally start out with this one building in the center. It's like a town hall. It's pretty standard stuff. Just wanted to pause the game there because we actually do have a horde of infected working their way in from the north. Now, one of the things I was a little bit confused about when I first started playing this was what the directions are, because you don't rotate the camera, so north is always north, and that would be up. And then down is south. But pretty much the standard cardinal directions. But yeah, it took me a little bit to figure that out, because at first I didn't know what they meant by, you know, a horde is approaching from the north. So once you have your main building up, what you usually need to focus on is gathering resources such as wood, stone, iron, and not really oil. Oil doesn't play a big part, it's mostly the gold. There are different buildings that contribute to gold, mostly these houses here. So you want to build more houses to increase both your workforce, the colonists and workers, as well as generate more income. You can see right here, I'm not doing so well overall in this one. I'm making like 585 gold per tick or per day. I'm not exactly sure how the ticks are calculated. But yeah, not doing so well. This was like one of my first games that I didn't immediately lose. So I made some not so great decisions here. And I'm pretty much at the point of being overwhelmed. So you should actually get to see me lose my base here to the zombie horde. Okay, so we have an incoming horde. I kind of explained a little bit about the economy. You know, you got to get some wood from the forests here. You get the stone from having a mine like this next to stone. You build walls, and then I don't know if I can zoom in here more so you can see it better, but like these are stone walls. You can upgrade wood walls to stone walls, little towers that you can station your units in. So like right here is a unit. We could have him exit the building. He's like a machine gunner. And then we of course have barracks over here, I believe it is. I know it got destroyed. Here it is. This is the soldiers center. Now, apparently the snipers are one of the better units. I don't think I've trained many of them. One sniper. Yeah, so not so good there. And like I said, we're on day 64, and so we have some fairly big hordes coming, and I lost one of my hero type units. I think his name was Lucifer. He had a flamethrower, which is absolutely really cool to get in the early parts of the game. So like I said, the horde is coming from the north, so I probably should get these snipers and stuff up by those towers. One of the things I did notice about this game, it's not multiplayer, but I tend to pause a lot while playing it, which means that for most people, it's probably not going to be very interesting to watch me actually play it for that reason. Okay, here we go. Got some more archers over here as well, or rangers as they call them. I'm not going to be doing a lot, I don't think, to try to defend. I mean, obviously I could have done more. The game is sort of roguelite in that sense. Yeah, let's unload all the units over there. It's roguelike in the sense that you know, if you lose a game, you don't get to save, right? You know, there's no option to roll back to a previous save. You know, once you lose that save, once you lose that game, it's like permanently wiped. And the developers have gone through some considerable efforts to keep it this way. From what I understand, I've done a little bit of reading on the forums about the game, and one of the complaints that people had was that the developers actually made it very difficult for anybody to mod the game because of the way they lock these maps, presumably to keep the integrity of the scoring system intact. That would be my best guess, but you know, there are always unfortunate side effects of being so heavy-handed about it. So the horde is on its way, and most of the time you don't have to worry about hordes. Hordes are like a random type event. They only pop up from time to time, and it becomes more frequent as you progress into the game. But most of the time, you'll just have to deal with little straggler zombies. So maybe I could sort of demonstrate what those straggler zombies are like. Let's unload some of these units here. I'll send them outside these walls that I built, and we will just pick off some zombies. Like, see right here is a zombie. You know, you'll just have groupings of zombies around the map. And that is one of the major restrictions on how you can expand. Because you might be thinking, well, how come I don't claim all this territory? And really, I should have claimed more territory than I did. But it's mostly because you need to clear out these areas of zombies. You can't see zombies in these areas at the moment, but there are a lot in there. And they don't respawn all that quickly. So if you take them out, if you clear them out, then you can expand into those areas and claim them for your own. That's kind of what I was doing here, as you can tell. I expanded into some nice grassland. And grassland is important because it allows you to build these farms, which is how you generate the bulk of your food. You know, you can generate some food through fishing huts, or you can build a hunter's hut as well. But the buildings that generate the most food are going to be the farms. So you kind of want to expand to that kind of territory to get more food so you can grow your population. You'll want to expand into territory like this. Is, I don't know what you want to call this kind of terrain. It's like corrupted terrain. Because those are great areas to build houses, because you're not going to really build anything else in there. You can make some nice villages. I did not make a very good village here. It's not very well optimized. There are some buildings that I failed to build in there. Okay, but that's probably enough of a tease for that. We should just be focusing a little bit more. I don't necessarily like how the map scrolls in and out, to be honest. I find it to be very unpredictable. You roll the scroll wheel, but yeah, it's a bit touch and go. Sometimes it really doesn't want to scroll in and out or zoom in and out. Okay, so now we can see up here, if you look at the mini-map on the left, there is a skull, and this is where the horde is coming from. The hordes are the deadly ones. Like, you can have small mini hordes that attack you from time to time out of these zombies that just surround the area around your base, but those are usually not a threat to you. It's when they have these big hordes that come out. Okay. They are coming from that side, which means we probably should get the majority of our units over here now instead. Like right now I'm trying to scroll in and out and it's really jerky. I wish they would improve that. Let's get some of those rangers in that tower. I mean, obviously the number of undead here means it's going to be very difficult. You know, this is probably going to be the point at which I get overwhelmed quite easily, I'm thinking. So that should be exciting. You'll get to see what happens when you lose a game that is fairly well developed. You know, I've got some stuff going on here. There's a little bit of progression in place. I know it's not nearly as good as you'd want it because, you know, you want it at, you know, I think you win after you hit day 100 on the normal difficulty. So that's like obviously what you want to go for, but it's always not an option. Look at all those hordes. And as you can see, we don't have much of anything to deal collateral damage. That's why I like the flamethrower. What is his name? His name was Lucifer, I think. He had a flamethrower and that was really cool. And I didn't get an opportunity to fix that or anything. So yeah, here we go. Let's see if we can make our last stand here. I do have a little bit of a fallback contingency plan in place. Oh, you got some of the monsters coming at us, the large zombies. They broke into the first area. Now they're tearing that tower down. The walls here are almost down, so probably gonna want to run inside the second wall here that surrounds our base. Yeah. If these guys could stop running in place, that would be great. Some pathfinding there would probably help us a lot. Yeah, that's a lot of zombies. You really do need collateral damage dealing units at this point. I just don't have enough units. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm surprised I held out against the previous wave because this is just absolutely nuts how many zombies there are here. And as you can see, as they take over your city and they get in here, they start destroying the houses, and that converts the civilians in those houses to zombies as well, which means that it all sort of snowballs into a massive defeat at the end of the game. And as you can see here, we're quickly losing our base, and that's game over. That's game lost. This is one of the best games that I have lost, I would have to say, up until this point. The games that I had been losing were games that didn't last very long, just a few days. As you can see here, lasted 66 days. Not very good population overall. I've done better in later games, but I kind of just saved this game because I knew that it was going to be one of those games where I could jump into it later to sort of demonstrate for one of these videos that I like to do, these first impression styles stuff, to sort of give you an idea of what the end game looks like when you have developed a little bit past that initial phase. So like I said, I've been playing it for 8+ hours at this point, and I'm really liking it. You know, I'm somebody who does like strategy games in general, so having this mixture of what I would consider to be sort of like tower defense combined with real-time strategy and survival is most certainly compelling to me. I've been favoring like more co-op multiplayer games at this point. So like if there was one thing that I wish they would add, it's the ability to sort of cooperate with another player on building a base. I know that can be a little bit difficult for strategy, and maybe just limit it to like one player controls the army and another player controls the economy. There are ideas out there that can work, I think. Anyway, I've sort of seen them demonstrated in other real-time strategy games, but yeah, real-time strategy has sort of seen a fading as of late, like with the end of StarCraft 2 being, or StarCraft 2 just sort of being taken over by more popular game genres that didn't focus as much on real-time strategy. So you got to kind of rethink the formula, and that's the direction I would like to see it go in, especially with these more survival-focused games. There's a community challenge you can do as well. I haven't played any of these. They're basically maps that I think the developers create with the intent, or which give the players an opportunity to compete for best scores. So a little bit something there. But I think that gives you, overall, it should give you a pretty good idea of what the game is about. Yeah, maybe I didn't focus quite enough on the actual economy building. Like, you didn't see me build any buildings, but if you're familiar at all with any kind of real-time strategy game, you understand how it works. You know, you get some resources, you select a building from the build menu, and you place it down in an area that is capable of being built on for that type of building anyway. So there's not a whole lot to see there. Like, if you're familiar at all with real-time strategy, probably not a whole lot to get into. It's not one of the more unique aspects of this game, I think, in any real capacity. So that is They Are Billions. Thank you very much for watching as always, and I hope to see you next time.